Today's tip of the day is about knowing your arrows and understanding their flight profiles. This is a Carbon Tech Cheetah 650 arrow. This arrow only weighs, with a 75 grain point, 260 grains total weight. This is an Easton ACE arrow. It's a barrel shaft, and this arrow weighs 300 grains total weight. I'm shooting a 2 1/4 inch parabolic feather on this, a 4-inch parabolic on this lighter arrow. So significant difference in weight, but this barrel shaft, the thinner profile, really small arrow, we're going to see at 50 yards the impact point. Both of these arrows shoot fairly well up close, but what I want to see is which one I'm getting the flattest trajectory, the best flight from. One of the things, if you use the tip of your arrow to aim, one of the things to note is the fatter the arrow. So if you shoot a line cutter, let's say, and you're using that thing to aim with, it's a wide profile. You don't see the very tip. All you see is the profile of the actual shaft itself, and the wider it is, the less precise. The more narrow the arrow, so in one of these small, thin flight arrows, you've got a more precise aiming point. If you're hitting dead center in line with it, you can get this more precise than you can a fatter arrow. This is a standard size shaft here. This is the small flight arrow. You see a lot of folks on the 3D course because they want to get the benefit of a fatter shaft arrow. You'll see them with like 6L 150s, 250s. Not a huge difference at 30 yards and under, but if you're concerned about precise aiming and you want the benefit of that, the thinner the shaft, the more precise the aiming aperture that you have. So let's back off here. We're going to shoot a feet of field target at 50 yards and see the impact points of these two different shafts. We'll start off with the Carbon Tech Cheetahs. We'll shoot say 4 of them and then 4 of the Easton ACE. No mind. Alright, let's go take a look at them. So as you can see, the heavier arrow, the Easton ACEs, impacted higher or flew a better, flatter trajectory than the lighter arrows. Now, they have, to be fair, those Carbon Tech Cheetahs have a 4-inch feather, and with an arrow as light as 265 grains, that's a tremendous amount of drag on the arrow, so it pulled them down. But also, those ACEs are meant for flight. They're a dense, thin shaft, barreled. They're made for flight. But The group, you see I got one errant Carbon Tech down there, and then I've got one high flyer on the ACEs. I'll tell you what, let's adjust the plunger to stiffen that shaft on the ACE, move those shafts to the left, and let's see if we can't get them in the yellow and see how well they shoot once we get those tuned in with the plunger, specifically for that arrow. The biggest thing with these long shots is consistency and form. The shot has to be identical each time, or your arrows are really going to show it downrange. You know, at 30 yards and in, you can get away with little flaws and inconsistencies, but the further you get from the target, the more it shows up downrange. So the key is trying to replicate each shot as perfectly as possible. I say that there was a discussion on one of the forums the other day, and you know, a guy snap shooting, and if you want to snap shoot and it works for you up close, that's fine. But the point was made that you can still shoot pretty well up close because the arrow doesn't have an opportunity to do that much. But the further you get from the target, the more those inconsistencies show up. The thing about canting the bow or snap shooting or whatever is that because of the form style, there's more opportunity for you to induce variables into the shot. The more consistent, if you square the bow, the form is more, you know, I would say not unorthodox. The more that you can replicate that form over and over. You can hunt squaring the bow. You don't have to cant the bow to hunt. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with canting the bow. That's fine, especially up close if hunting is your only game. But to say that you can't shoot a formal type of, like a lot of people refer to it as Olympic style archery, and hunt is just a fallacy. You can. I keep the bow square, and I kill 6 to 9 deer a year, a lot of squirrels, turkeys. I mean, you can shoot that way in the woods, no problem. Through these videos, I'm not trying to sell any style or form. I'm just trying to expose you to the truth of each type of form. And about archery, the things that I've learned. That's all. It's about knowing and then making an informed decision, not shooting in ignorance. Okay, that's 4, I think, pretty good arrows. Let's go down and take a look at those. Those ACEs are really flying well. I want to use them if I can get them to fly the way I want to. So I think we've got them dialed in here at 50, and so what I want to do now is go to 20 and see with my crawls, because I'm string walking, see at my crawls if down the string they're flying just as well as they are at this distance. But I think we got 4 pretty good arrows in there for 50 yards. Yeah, so those are centered up pretty nice. Let's go back to 20, take a look at it, and just see how they fly there. So now we're at 20. We'll shoot that top right dot just to let you see the impacts here at 20. Usually if you get them lined up at 50, they'll be centered closer in. Not a great shot there. Bow arm, dropped that one. It's not bad at 20. Pretty happy with it. You can see that not always necessarily the lightest arrow is going to be your best flying arrow. These high quality arrows fly better. Got one errant shot there, that was on me, but the ACEs, it's a thinner, smaller shaft, and despite being a little bit heavier, seems to fly flatter for a further distance. Let's get it. Get it, Molly.